The ambulance lights flashed red and blue against the hotel windows. I was lying on a stretcher, my white wedding dress soaked with blood, watching paramedics work frantically around me. "Ma'am, can you hear me? Stay with us," one of them said, checking my pulse. My head throbbed where I'd hit the bathroom floor. The pain was sharp, cutting through the champagne fog. I'd been dancing at my reception 2 hours ago. Now I was fighting to stay conscious. "My husband," I whispered. "Where's Daniel? Someone needs to tell him." The paramedic exchanged a glance with his partner. "Your sister said she'd handle it. She went to find him." "My sister Melissa." "Of course. Always so helpful. Always so concerned." The last thing I remembered clearly was feeling dizzy during our first dance. Daniel's arms around me. The room spinning. Then nothing until I woke up on the bathroom floor in a pool of blood. "Possible concussion," the paramedic said into his radio. "Head wound, significant bleeding. Patient is disoriented. We're taking her to County General." As they loaded me into the ambulance, I looked back at the hotel. Our wedding night. Ruined. I had no idea how much worse it would get. The ER doctor stitched my head while I lay under bright fluorescent lights. 12 stitches. A concussion. Severe dehydration that had caused me to faint and crack my skull on the marble bathroom. "You're lucky," Dr. Chen said. "Another inch and this could have been much worse. You need to rest. No stress. Definitely no alcohol for at least a week." "My wedding night," I said, tears sliding down my face. "This was supposed to be the happiest night of my life." She squeezed my hand. "Your husband will understand. Health comes first." But where was Daniel? 3 hours in the ER, and he hadn't appeared. No phone call. No text. Nothing. I tried calling him. Straight to voicemail. Tried again. Same thing. Called Melissa. No answer. Called my mother. She picked up on the first ring. "Honey, how are you feeling?" Melissa texted that you're okay. "Mom, where's Daniel? Why isn't he here?" Silence. Then, "I don't know, sweetie. I thought he went with you in the ambulance." "He didn't. I haven't seen him since the reception. Can you find him? Please." "Of course. Let me call around." But the worry in her voice made my stomach turn. Something was wrong. I could feel it in my bones. They admitted me overnight for observation. Standard procedure for concussions. I lay in the hospital bed, still in my ruined wedding dress, trying Daniel's phone every 15 minutes. Nothing. Voicemail. Every single time. My mother arrived around midnight with clean clothes. Her face was tight with barely controlled anger. "Did you find him?" I asked immediately. "No," she said. "And Melissa isn't answering either. Your father checked the hotel. They're not in your suite. Their phones are off." My heart started pounding. "What do you mean they're not there? Where else would they be?" Mom sat on the edge of my bed. "Sweetheart, I don't want to upset you. The doctor said no stress." "Tell me." She took a deep breath. "The hotel staff said they saw Melissa and Daniel get into the elevator together around 10 p.m. That was right after you left in the ambulance. They haven't been seen since." The room spun. Not from the concussion. From something much worse. "Maybe they went to the hospital," I said desperately. "Maybe they're looking for me." "Maybe," Mom said, but she didn't believe it. I could see it in her eyes. She didn't believe it at all. I was discharged the next morning with painkillers and strict instructions to rest. My father picked me up, his jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. "Where's Mom?" I asked. "At the hotel," he said grimly. "Handling something." "What something?" He didn't answer. Just drove in silence, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. When we pulled up to the hotel, I saw my mother standing outside the entrance talking to a man in a security uniform. She was gesturing emphatically, her face flushed. I got out of the car, still moving slowly from the concussion. "Mom, what's going on?" She turned and I saw tears in her eyes. Angry tears. "Emily, get back in the car." "No. Tell me what's happening. Where's Daniel?" The security guard looked uncomfortable. "Ma'am, maybe you should sit down." "I don't want to sit down. I want to know where my husband is." Mom grabbed my hands. "Emily, listen to me. The hotel manager called this morning. There was a noise complaint last night. From the room next to yours." My blood ran cold. "What kind of noise complaint?" She couldn't look at me. The kind that made them check the security footage. The hotel manager's office was small and professional. He was a thin man in his 50s, clearly uncomfortable with what he had to show me. "Mrs. Foster, I'm so sorry. This is highly irregular, but your mother insisted you see this before we delete it per policy." "Show me," I said. My voice sounded dead. He pulled up the security footage on his computer. Timestamp, 10:47 p.m. The night before. My wedding night. The hallway outside my honeymoon suite. Melissa and Daniel walking together. Her hand on his arm. Both of them laughing. This is right after you left in the ambulance, the manager explained quietly. They reached the door. Daniel fumbled with the key card. The door opened. Melissa looked down the hallway, directly at the camera. Then she smiled. She smiled and followed my husband into my honeymoon suite. The door closed. Timestamp, 10:52 p.m. There's more, the manager said. The footage shows them entering. It shows them leaving together at 6:43 a.m. this morning. 7 hours and 51 minutes later. I stared at the screen. My sister. My husband. My wedding night. While I was in the hospital with a cracked skull, they were together. I threw up in the hotel bathroom. My mother held my hair, crying silently. I'm so sorry, baby, she kept saying. I'm so sorry. My father was in the manager's office, his voice rising. I want copies of that footage. All of it. Time-stamped. Official. Everything you have. Sir, our policy. I don't care about your policy. My daughter's husband committed adultery on their wedding night, while she was in the emergency room. Give me the footage, or I'll have my lawyer here in an hour. The manager capitulated. I'll prepare the files immediately. I washed my face with cold water, looking at myself in the mirror. Stitches across my forehead. Eyes red and swollen. Still wearing the clothes my mother had brought to the hospital. 24 hours ago, I was the happiest bride in the world, dancing with my new husband, surrounded by family and friends. Now I was this, a woman whose sister had slept with her husband on their wedding night. My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. Where are you? I've been looking everywhere. I stared at the message. The audacity. The absolute audacity. I typed back. I was in the hospital. Where were you? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally. At the hotel. I fell asleep. My phone died. Are you okay? I didn't respond. Instead, I walked back to the manager's office where my father was waiting with a USB drive. Everything's on here, Dad said, his face hard. Time-stamped. Official hotel documentation. And the manager has written a statement. A statement saying what? I asked. The manager cleared his throat. That I personally reviewed the footage. That it shows Daniel Foster and Melissa Chun entering the honeymoon suite together at 10:52 p.m. and exiting together at 6:43 a.m. That there were noise complaints from the adjacent rooms at approximately 1:30 a.m. and again at 3:15 a.m. Noise complaints. On my wedding night. From my suite. While I was unconscious in a hospital bed. Another text from Daniel. Emily, please answer. I'm worried about you. I showed my mother. She grabbed my phone and typed. She's with us. We need to talk. Meet us in the lobby in 30 minutes. I don't want to see him, I said. You need to, Mom said firmly. You need to look him in the eye and know for certain. No doubts. No second-guessing later. She was right. Part of me still wanted to believe there was an explanation. Some innocent reason. Maybe Melissa had stayed to call the hospital. Maybe they'd fallen asleep watching TV. Maybe I was an idiot. Daniel appeared in the lobby exactly 30 minutes later. He looked terrible. Hair messy. Shirt wrinkled. Dark circles under his eyes. Guilty. He looked guilty. Emily. He rushed toward me. Thank God you're okay. They said you hit your head. I was so worried. My father stepped between us. Don't come near her. Daniel froze. Mr. Chun, I don't understand. What's going on? Where were you last night? Dad asked. Between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m.? Daniel's face flickered. Just for a second. I was here. At the hotel. I told you I fell asleep. Where at the hotel? In our suite. I was exhausted. The wedding was long, and Emily was at the hospital, and I just crashed. Alone. My mother's voice was ice. Daniel hesitated. That hesitation was everything. Answer the question, Dad said. Were you alone? Melissa came by, Daniel said slowly, to give me updates about Emily. She said you were okay, just needed observation. She stayed for a while to make sure I was all right too. My mother laughed. Actually laughed. A bitter, horrible sound. She stayed for a while. Yes, Daniel said, confused now. She was being nice. Supportive. Why are you all looking at me like that? I finally spoke. How long did she stay? I don't know. Maybe an hour? Then I fell asleep. Try again, my father said. What? That's what happened. Dad held up the USB drive. This is security footage from the hotel. Timestamped. Official. Want to revise your story? The color drained from Daniel's face. Security footage? Of the hallway outside our suite, I said, my voice shaking. Showing you and Melissa entering at 10:52 p.m. Together. We were just. And leaving together at 6:43 this morning. 7 hours and 51 minutes later. Daniel opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. No words came out. There were noise complaints, Mom added. At 1:30 a.m. and 3:15 a.m. From the rooms next to the honeymoon suite. Our honeymoon suite. It's not what it looks like, Daniel finally managed. My father stepped closer. Then what is it? Explain to me what it looks like when a man spends his wedding night with his wife's sister while his wife is in the hospital. We just talked. That's all. For 8 hours? I asked. You just talked. Daniel was sweating now. Emily, you have to believe me. Nothing happened. Melissa was upset. She felt guilty about you getting hurt. She needed someone to talk to. So she talked to you, I said. In my honeymoon suite. On my wedding night. For 8 hours. It's not like that. Then tell me what it's like. I was yelling now, not caring that people in the lobby were staring. Tell me exactly what you did for 8 hours that caused noise complaints at 1:30 and 3:15 in the morning. He was silent. Tell me. I screamed. We had some champagne, he said quietly. We were celebrating you being okay. We got drunk. We were talking and laughing. Maybe we were too loud. I'm sorry about that. My mother made a disgusted sound. Celebrating. On your wedding night. With champagne and your wife's sister. Where did you sleep? Dad asked. The couch. Both of you. Daniel hesitated again. There's only one couch. So you slept together on the couch? Mom asked. Not together. I mean, we fell asleep on the same couch. But nothing happened. I felt like I was watching this from outside my body. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be my husband. My sister. I want to talk to Melissa, I said. Daniel's eyes widened. That's not a good idea right now. Why not? If nothing happened, she'll tell me the same story, right? She's probably still sleeping. It was a late night. Call her, my father ordered. Right now. Daniel pulled out his phone with shaking hands. Dialed. Put it on speaker. It rang 4 times. Then Melissa's sleepy voice. Daniel? What's wrong? Daniel. Not Emily. She'd called him Daniel. Hey, Daniel said, voice tight. Emily wants to talk to you. Silence. Then. Oh, is she okay? How's her head? I'm fine, I said coldly. We need to talk about last night. More silence. What about last night? About you and Daniel. In my honeymoon suite. For 8 hours. I heard rustling on the other end. Melissa suddenly sounded very awake. Who told you that? The hotel has security footage. Timestamped. Official. A long pause. Then, Emily, I can explain. Then explain, I said. Explain why you spent my wedding night with my husband while I was in the hospital. I was trying to help. You were hurt, and Daniel was alone and worried. I stayed to keep him company. For 8 hours. We lost track of time. We were talking about you, about the wedding, about everything. Did you drink? I asked. Another pause. A little. To calm our nerves. Did you sleep on the couch together? Emily, you're making this sound worse than it was. Answer the question. Yes. We both fell asleep on the couch. But nothing happened. I swear to God, nothing happened. My mother grabbed the phone. Then why were there noise complaints at 1:30 a.m. and 3:15 a.m.? What were you doing that was so loud? Melissa's voice got defensive. We were watching TV. And maybe we were talking loudly. We were drunk. Drunk on my daughter's wedding night, Mom said. In my daughter's honeymoon suite. While she was in the emergency room. I didn't plan this. It just happened. What just happened? I asked, taking the phone back. Say it clearly. What just happened? Nothing. God, Emily, why are you being like this? I was trying to help. By drinking champagne with my husband? By spending the night with him? By making so much noise the other guests complained. You're twisting everything. Daniel, tell her. Daniel looked at me, his face pale. Emily, please. You have to believe us. Nothing happened. We were just drunk and stupid. But nothing happened. I looked at my parents. My mother was crying. My father looked murderous. I want to see you, I told Melissa. Both of you. Together. Right now. I don't think that's a good idea, Melissa said quickly. I don't care what you think. Get here in 30 minutes, or I'm filing for divorce without hearing your side. I hung up before she could respond. Daniel reached for me. Emily, please don't do this. Don't let one stupid mistake ruin our marriage. I stepped back. Don't touch me. We didn't do anything. I swear on my life. You spent 8 hours with my sister in our honeymoon suite on our wedding night. That's enough. But nothing physical happened. My father laughed bitterly. Son, even if that's true, do you not see how monumentally you messed up? Your wife was in the hospital. Scared. Alone. And you were drinking champagne with her sister. I know it looks bad. It doesn't look bad, I said. It is bad. The worst thing you could possibly do. 28 minutes later, Melissa appeared in the lobby. She looked terrible too. Makeup smeared. Wearing the same dress from the wedding. Her eyes were red and puffy. She saw me and burst into tears. Emily, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. For what? I asked. If nothing happened, what are you sorry for? Melissa sat down across from me, keeping distance. Daniel stood awkwardly to the side. My parents flanked me like bodyguards. I'm sorry for staying so long, Melissa said, wiping her eyes. I'm sorry for drinking. I'm sorry for falling asleep. I'm sorry for all of it. But nothing happened, I said. Right? That's what you both keep saying. Nothing happened, she confirmed. I swear, Em. You're my sister. I would never do that to you. I pulled out my phone and opened the photo the hotel manager had sent. The security footage screenshot. Melissa and Daniel entering the suite. Her hand on his arm. Both smiling. Look at this, I said, showing her. Really look at it. Melissa looked. Her face crumpled. You're smiling, I said. Both of you. My wedding night. I'm in the hospital. And you're smiling. We didn't know it would be all night. We just thought we'd have one drink. And then we started talking and drinking more, and I don't know, time just disappeared. What did you talk about for 8 hours? My mother asked. Melissa looked at Daniel. He looked at the floor. Everything, Melissa said finally. About the wedding. About you. About life. About us, Daniel added quietly. The word hung in the air. Us. Daniel and Melissa. Us. What do you mean, us? I asked slowly. Daniel realized his mistake. I meant all of us. The family. The future. That's not what you said. That's what I meant. My father stood up. I've heard enough. Emily, we're leaving. These two can figure out their story without you. Wait, Melissa said desperately. Please wait. Let me explain everything. Explain what? Mom demanded. That you spent the night with your sister's husband? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Paint me a picture. You enter the suite at 10:52. What happens next? Melissa took a shaky breath. Daniel was upset. Really upset. He was crying about Emily being hurt. I hugged him. Tried to comfort him. For 8 hours, I said flatly. We sat on the couch. We talked about how scared we were. We opened champagne to celebrate you being okay. 1 bottle became 2. We were drunk. And then we just kept talking. About everything. About nothing. I don't even remember half of it. You remember enough to lie about it, my father said. Melissa flinched. I'm not lying. You're lying by omission. What happened during those noise complaints? 1:30 a.m. and 3:15 a.m. What were you doing? She looked at Daniel again. He was staring at the floor, refusing to meet anyone's eyes. We were watching a movie, Melissa said. An action movie. It was loud. At 1:30 in the morning? Mom asked. You were watching a loud action movie? We were drunk. We weren't thinking about the volume. And at 3:15, another movie. Melissa's face was bright red now. I don't remember exactly. Try harder. Maybe we were laughing? I don't know. We were drunk and stupid. I stood up slowly. My head was pounding from the concussion, but the pain in my chest was worse. You're lying. Both of you. I can see it. I'm not. Stop. I cut her off. Just stop. I don't even care anymore what exactly happened. The fact is, you spent my wedding night with my husband. 8 hours. Drinking. Laughing. Making noise. Together. Emily, please. Did you kiss him? The question hung in the air. Melissa's face went white. Answer me, I said. Did you kiss my husband? No. Did he kiss you? No. Nothing like that happened. Did you want it to? Silence. Long, damning silence. Did you want him to kiss you? I asked again, my voice breaking. Melissa started crying harder. I don't know. I was drunk. I wasn't thinking clearly. Daniel finally looked up. Emily, I didn't kiss her. I swear. I didn't touch her. But you wanted to, I said. Not a question. A statement. Daniel's silence was answer enough. My mother stood up, grabbing her purse. We're done here, Emily, let's go. Wait. Melissa grabbed my arm. Please, Em, don't do this. Don't throw away your marriage over a misunderstanding. I looked at her hand on my arm. My sister. The person I'd trusted most in the world besides Daniel. Let go of me, I said quietly. Emily, please. Let go. She released me, sobbing. I love you. You're my sister. I would never hurt you on purpose. But you did hurt me. On purpose or not, you hurt me in the worst possible way. It was a mistake. Mistakes are accidents, my father said. You chose to enter that room. You chose to stay. You chose to drink. You chose to spend the night. Those were all choices, Melissa. Not mistakes. Daniel stepped forward. Mr. Chun, please. I love Emily. I made a terrible error in judgment, but I love her. Then why weren't you at the hospital? Mom asked. If you love her so much, why were you here with Melissa? I thought she was okay. Melissa said she just needed observation. So you celebrated by drinking champagne with her sister? Dad's voice dripped with contempt. I walked toward the elevator. My parents followed. Behind me, I could hear Melissa and Daniel calling my name. I didn't turn around. In the elevator, my father hugged me. You're doing the right thing, sweetheart. It doesn't feel right, I whispered. It feels like my life is ending. It's not ending, Mom said firmly. It's beginning. Your real life. Without liars. We went to my parents' house. I slept in my childhood bedroom, still decorated with posters from high school. It felt surreal. 24 hours ago, I was married. Now I was back in my teenage bed, stitches in my head, my marriage in ruins. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Daniel. Melissa. Over and over. Finally, I turned it off. The next morning, my father sat me down at the kitchen table. I've already contacted a divorce attorney. Best in the state. She can see you this afternoon. Dad, I don't know if... Emily, he said gently. I know this is hard, but you need to protect yourself. Legally. Financially. Emotionally. He pulled out the USB drive from the hotel. This is evidence. Time-stamped. Official. With this, the divorce will be straightforward. No fault needed. Clear evidence of adultery. We don't know that they actually... Does it matter? Mom asked. He spent the night with her. That's enough. That's betrayal enough. She was right. Even if nothing physical happened, the emotional betrayal was complete. The divorce attorney's name was Margaret Sullivan. She was in her 50s, sharp-eyed, with a reputation for being ruthless. Mrs. Foster, she said, shaking my hand. I've reviewed the security footage your father sent. This is one of the most clear-cut cases I've ever seen. What do you mean? Adultery is hard to prove in court. Usually it's he said, she said. But you have time-stamped video evidence of your husband entering a hotel room with another woman on your wedding night. The fact that it's your sister actually makes it worse in the eyes of the court. She pulled up the footage on her computer. Look at the timestamps. 10:52 p.m. entry. 6:43 a.m. exit. That's nearly 8 hours. And the noise complaints corroborate that they were engaging in activity loud enough to disturb other guests. They say they were just watching movies and talking. Margaret raised an eyebrow. At 1:30 and 3:15 in the morning? In a honeymoon suite? Please. What if nothing physical happened? Doesn't matter. In this state, adultery includes inappropriate intimate behavior. Spending the night alone together, drinking in a bedroom, is enough. The law doesn't require proof of sexual intercourse. She pulled out paperwork. I'm recommending we file for divorce immediately on grounds of adultery. With this evidence, he won't contest. He can't. It's too clear. My hands shook as I looked at the forms. Petition for divorce. After 1 day of marriage. What about the wedding expenses? I asked. We spent over $50,000. Margaret smiled grimly. He'll be liable for half. Possibly more, given the adultery. We can also seek compensation for emotional distress. The fact that you were hospitalized while he was with your sister strengthens that claim. What about Melissa? Can't sue family members in this state for alienation of affection. But we can make sure everyone knows what she did. Public record. Court documents. It'll follow her. Good, I thought viciously. Let it follow her. I signed the papers. Margaret filed them electronically. He'll be served within 48 hours. Be prepared for him to try to contact you. To beg. To make promises. Don't engage. That night, Daniel showed up at my parents' house. My father answered the door. I need to talk to Emily, Daniel said. I could hear him from upstairs. She doesn't want to talk to you. Please, Mr. Chun. I need to explain. I need her to understand. She understands perfectly. You spent your wedding night with her sister. What else is there to understand? Nothing happened. How many times do I have to say it? Until it's true, my father said. Which will be never. Goodbye, Daniel. He closed the door. Daniel banged on it. Emily, please. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. I sat on my bed, hands over my ears, crying. The divorce papers were served to Daniel at his office. He called immediately, crying. Emily, you can't do this. Please. We can work through this. There's nothing to work through, I said coldly. You made your choice. I chose you. I married you. And then you spent our wedding night with my sister. We didn't do anything. You did enough. Goodbye, Daniel. I hung up. Blocked his number. Blocked Melissa's number. Blocked everyone connected to both of them. My mother found me crying in the bathroom that night. Honey, you're doing the right thing. Then why does it hurt so much? Because you loved him. Because you trusted them both. That doesn't just disappear. I feel so stupid. Everyone warned me Melissa was always jealous. That she always wanted what I had. I didn't listen. Mom hugged me. That's not your fault. You trusted your sister. That's normal. She betrayed that trust. That's on her. The divorce moved quickly. With the video evidence, Daniel's lawyer advised him not to contest. He signed everything. The settlement was brutal. He paid for half the wedding expenses, $25,000. He also paid $15,000 in emotional distress damages. And he got nothing. No shared assets. No alimony. Nothing. 3 months after my wedding, I was officially divorced. The video footage went viral. Someone leaked it online. Within days, millions of people had seen it. The timestamp. The hotel hallway. Melissa and Daniel. Together. The comments were vicious. Who does that to their sister? On her wedding night while she was in the hospital? These people are disgusting. Melissa deleted all her social media. Daniel moved to another state. Both of them destroyed their reputations beyond repair. I felt no satisfaction. Just emptiness. My therapist said it was normal. You're grieving 2 relationships simultaneously. Your marriage and your sister. That's complicated trauma. Will I ever trust anyone again? I asked. Yes. But it takes time. And it takes choosing people who deserve trust. 6 months after the wedding, I was different. Harder. More cautious. But also stronger. I'd learned that I could survive anything. Even the worst betrayal from the people closest to me. Sarah, the woman who'd handled the hotel investigation, reached out. I wanted to check on you. See how you're doing. We met for coffee. She was kind. Understanding. No judgment. I see these cases more than you'd think, she said. Family betrayal. Wedding drama. People's worst moments. Does anyone actually recover? I asked. Most do. It just takes time and distance and choosing yourself first. A year after the wedding, I was okay. Actually okay. Not perfect. Not completely healed. But okay. I'd started dating again. Carefully. With clear boundaries. Taking it slow. Daniel tried to reach out through mutual friends. Wanting closure. Wanting to apologize properly. I told every friend the same thing. Tell him no. Some doors stay closed. Melissa sent a letter. 5 pages. Apologizing. Explaining. Begging for forgiveness. I read the first paragraph. Something about how she'd made a terrible mistake, how the alcohol had impaired her judgment, how she never meant to hurt me. I threw the rest away without reading it. Some apologies come too late. My parents worried I'd become bitter. Closed off. Unable to love again. Maybe I had. A little. But I'd also learned something valuable. I'd learned that I was stronger than I thought. That I could survive the worst betrayal and come out the other side. That I deserved better than people who would betray me on the happiest day of my life. The wedding video sat on a hard drive in my closet. I'd never watched it. Probably never would. That day felt like it belonged to a different person. The woman who trusted blindly. Who believed the best in everyone. Who thought family and marriage were sacred. That woman died on the bathroom floor in a pool of blood while her husband and sister betrayed her. I was someone new now. Someone who trusted carefully. Who protected herself first. Who knew that love wasn't enough without loyalty. My new therapist asked if I regretted the way I'd handled the divorce. The public exposure. The brutal settlement. No, I said honestly. They made their choices publicly. They faced consequences publicly. That's fair. Some people would call it revenge. Some people would be wrong. It wasn't revenge. It was justice. 2 years after the wedding, I heard Melissa had moved across the country. Working a minimum wage job. Couldn't get hired anywhere that did background checks because the video always came up. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No pity. Just nothing. Daniel had apparently bounced around between states. No stable job. No relationships. Couldn't escape what he'd done because it followed him online. Also nothing. His consequences. His choices. I'd moved on. New city. New job. New life. The stitches on my forehead had faded to a thin white line, barely visible unless you knew to look. But I knew it was there. A reminder. Of the night everything changed. Of the moment I learned who I could and couldn't trust. 3 years after the wedding that wasn't, I got married again. Small ceremony. Close friends only. No family besides my parents. My new husband, James, knew the whole story. I'd shown him the security footage early in our relationship. Wanted him to understand why I was cautious. Why trust came slowly. He'd watched it. Held my hand. Said, "I'm sorry that happened to you. And I promise you'll never question my loyalty." He'd kept that promise. Every day. Every moment. The night before our wedding, he sat with me. "Nervous?" he asked. "A little," I admitted. "Last time didn't go so well." "Last time you married the wrong person," he said gently. "This time is different. I'm different. We're different." He was right. Everything was different. Better. Real. Our wedding was perfect. Small. Intimate. No drama. No betrayal. Just love. That night, in our honeymoon suite, I felt peace for the first time in years. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message. "I heard you got married again. I'm happy for you. I'm sorry for everything. Melissa." I showed James. "Do you want to respond?" he asked. I thought about it. About forgiveness. About moving on. About letting go. Then I deleted the message and blocked the number. Some doors stay closed. Some betrayals don't deserve second chances. I'd learned that the hard way. But I'd learned it completely. And now, finally, I was free.